edition of The Pulse of Spokane. And, a lot of things are changing in the world with COVID and all that's going on. Are we in phase 2? When will phase 3 be? And so forth. And one of the things that has really changed in the last couple of months is the news at KHQ. Now, many of you know I worked there years ago in sales, and there's some great people there then, and some of them have continued. And Sean Owsley, how are you doing?
Some of us continued, some of us are just hanging on by a thread. That's kind of how it works.
But you're not getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, are you?
No, but obviously, I don't know how much you want me to talk about that transition, but it was a major shift, personal life shift for me.
Yes.
My son just finished his senior year at Meade High School.
Right.
He's going to Whitworth.
Yes.
And it was just kind of felt like the right time. I've always kind of been an instinct guy, and my gut said, I think it's time for a change, whatever that is. Believe in yourself, throw caution to the wind. I did all of those things. I left the Wake Up Show with Kalai and Leslie, a fabulous team that's been very successful.
Staple in Spokane for so long.
I did that show for almost 2 decades.
Wow.
And I just, getting up at 2:30 a.m. for 20 years was enough for me.
Yeah.
Worked with management at KHQ. I was initially going to take the summer off.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And at that point, they came back to me and they said, you're extremely valuable.
Yeah.
You're from here.
That's not what they told me.
You're born here. Well, you got some spam email. That was not from my actual managers. And they offered me a 6:30 p.m. newscast Monday through Friday, where we were going to really not waste your time, focus on content, focus on the economic stability in this region or instability, and just really dig in and do some in-depth journalism. And I have to tell you, it's been so fulfilling.
Yeah, it's a great show. We're going to talk about this great show right after this.
Today, Spokane's weather is going to be mostly sunny with a high of 85, while this week looks to be pretty decent. Tonight will bring mostly cloudy skies with a low of 52. Today, Coeur d'Alene's weather looks to be mostly sunny with a high 85 and a low of 56. Cheney's weather looks to be mostly sunny with a high of 84 and a low of 50.
This is Looms Day in Spokane. We got about 40 firefighters and their friends and family handing out 40,000 cups of water as the day goes by.
It's a very good opportunity to see the public and support them and help them out and cheer them on during Looms Day.
It's one of the best things about Spokane is that we have these major events and the whole community comes together not just to participate, but to volunteer and show that they really care about our city and making our city look great.
This type of an event really is emblematic of Spokane because so many people get involved. We have 50,000 people probably running this race. Always has been a very huge event.
Right now we're at the corner of Broadway and Nettleton. It's the last water station before the finish, so people are pretty much dehydrated by the time they get to us. They really need our water.
The water stations are a vital part, especially on warm days like today. It's real important that we have the volunteers to help with that. Without the volunteers, Looms Day wouldn't exist.
All up and down the course, there are people that are involved in this celebration. It really is a celebration of what Spokane's all about.
Welcome to Apex Plaza, Spokane's one-stop cannabis destination. Apex Cannabis features thousands of economy, value, and luxury cannabis products. Cannagear features hemp-based CBD products, glass, goods, and gear. Stop by 1325 North Division to experience the Apex difference.
This product has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming. Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. There may be health risk associated with the consumption of this product. For use only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children.
The economy is getting stronger, banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Well, Sean Owsley, you've had. I'm chuckling inside because I'm thinking of the career you've had on TV. Okay.
Okay.
And you're only 50,
right?
Yeah.
Just
you turned 50.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. You've always been the kid to me.
Yeah,
you know. I mean,
to a lot of people, like the Dan Kleckners and the Stephanie Vigils.
Yeah.
And,
well, they're old.
Yeah. No, they're we're all in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Okay. You said that. I did not. I'm not taking the hook. Can't. Yeah. I do this for a living too.
Oh, sorry, Dan. Stephanie looks really good at age 30, though, I think, don't you?
29. 30,
29?
30 next year. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. We'll keep the rumor going. What do you like best about being on TV? What drives you to do that? I know it's not ego. So what is it?
It is not ego. And in our business, there are egos that run rampant.
We all know.
For me, it's fundamentally about providing smart information that impacts people personally.
Okay.
Tangible information that they can take and apply to their life that's going to help them.
Right.
That's what journalism is fundamentally.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I've approached my job always. There are anchors, what I like to call me TV. I'm not one of those. It's never about me. Right. You ask my brother, I'm the same exact person that he ran the streets of North Spokane with back in the 70s. You don't change. It's not about me. It's never been about me. It's about content, the stories of our region, how the region is changing, how those stories shape the region and vice versa. Mm-hmm. That's how I approach it every single day. And really, you work in a bubble kind of in TV.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. But
and everybody thinks they know you.
Right. And I do know a lot of people. I mean, I was born in Spokane.
Yeah.
But you work in that bubble and you don't understand the reach of your impact.
Yes.
And when you have somebody call and say, you walked me through the unemployment process,
yes,
and I finally got a check, I'm able to keep my house.
Yes.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's why I like what I do.
Yeah.
I've never lost my drive. I've never lost my passion. Some people say sometimes I'm too aggressive and too intense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to apologize for that because that's what you have to do to get the job done right.
We watched you a couple years back doing the fires out in
Carlton Complex. Yeah.
All of that. And we were talking before we went on the air about you're preparing for interviews and so forth. And you do it like I do it a lot. And I showed you before we went on, I have no notes or questions to ask. Why do you do it that way?
I'll tell you exactly why. And, I have some old video.
Because you're lazy?
No, not because I'm lazy, but I have some old videotape that shows the trial and error system that took a long time to get better at. But I tell you why. And way back when, I had somebody tell me, read all the information, educate yourself on whatever your specific story is or the content you're going to present, know it inside and out, and then just tell me. If you have notes and you're reading it, it sounds like you're reading it.
Yeah.
If you just in your gut know the information inside and out, it is way more conversational. I think you connect better with the people that are absorbing that information. Mm-hmm. That's how I started. There were many, many rough days.
Yeah.
But now I will read all I can on an interview beforehand. When I do the interview, you'll rarely ever see me holding a piece of paper.
Right.
There's no scripted questions. Right. A lot of the people that I set up an interview with say, well, what questions are you going to ask?
Yeah.
And I say, I don't have any questions. I'm just going to have a conversation with you.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's how I approach it.
Yeah. And people walk away much, much more comfortable with you doing that. And I mean, I'm constantly thinking about the camera over my shoulder here that's getting you, and what follow-up should I have? But if I'm thinking about question number 3,
you're not listening.
I'm not listening.
Yes.
Isn't that the truth?
That's totally true.
And so I'm wanting to know, and I go in most not knowing the people and knowing the story.
Right.
So I'm there to learn as well.
Right.
But I know often the people watching have even less knowledge. At least I know your name starting, and I don't mean you, but the guest.
Sure.
And I think that's important, and which is kind of funny in what we do here, in that today it's everything quick and dirty. You know, get the story out and go on to the next one, go on to the next one. And there's a lot of value in that, where we spend a little more time in conversations. And I know you have a time limit. When you sat down, I think, a couple months ago now, to help design your program, what were your objectives? What did you want to accomplish? Because it is a different program than everyone else's 5 and 6 o'clock in town.
You know, when my general manager, Patricia McCrae, and Neil Bowling came to me with it, they said we're going to have a brainstorm session. Our news managers, Kelly Hatmaker, Tracy Zervecka, we sat in a room. They handpicked a person that was going to produce the show. Her name is Colette, very smart, bright person. And we all sat in a room and we said, what do we want this show to be? And we just started spitballing.
Okay.
And I came at it from a perspective of, we can't waste your time.
Yep.
It's got to have some depth.
Yeah.
It's got to feel different.
Yes.
And Dan and Steph do the 5 and 6 p.m. local news. They've done that for years here. People expect that. When I come out of that, I can't be rehashing what they just covered. It has got to feel fresh, new, not waste your time, be smart television, be effective, tell me what I need to know, and get out.
Yeah.
That was our focus.
And
the one good thing segment at the end was my idea. I was like, there's so much stress, you've got to leave them with a smile.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the focus of that shape of the show.
I won't ask what the smile is going to be tonight then. Okay.
I don't know if I know. Not sure I'm aware yet.
Oh, okay.
I just woke up.
Welcome to the world. And I think there's so much better TV and knowledge spent to the community when you do what you're doing versus the very easy, I'm going to introduce the person out in the field. You're going to get the minute hit from them and some video, which drives me crazy because every time they use video, it repeats the same video. And I've asked Neil, can't you afford to have your photographers shoot more than just to loop it? You know, yeah, you've seen that.
I'm going to neither confirm nor deny.
No, I know. I got to keep you safe. Because Neil will see this when he gets back from vacation. We know that, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. Okay. Should we say something nice about him?
I think I already did.
Oh, okay,
actually.
okay. Yeah. I was wondering if we could even come up with something nice.
There are plenty of things we could.
Yeah,
yes.
No, he's a good friend, and he's in a good spot now as general manager of the station, and good things will happen. It's a challenge. As you know, KHQ is one of like half a dozen across the country, locally owned, independent. I mean, yes, the affiliation with NBC, but locally owned, and that's the strange thing this year, at this point in life, because so many are owned by corporations.
I think that is a critical factor. The stability we've had because we're locally owned.
Yes, but you don't see that hard.
Is extremely rare.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that have either worked at KHQ in the past or that I've met through this job that work at the bigger stations in the bigger cities that are corporately owned, and it's transitory. They move on. They move to different places. There's no allegiance. I think there's a loyalty working for a locally owned family that's created a stability that is so unique and rare.
Yeah.
And it's allowed me to just stay here.
I was going to say, yes, that's probably one of the compelling reasons to stay.
It is, absolutely. And I was born here, and I love the quality of life here.
Oh, okay, so. Okay. Okay, and you've got a son and a wife here and a few things like that, too.
Right.
A dog?
Oh, yeah. We're not going to get into the Owsley farm right now.
Oh, okay.
Now there's a couple of dogs and a cat. And
Lord.
That's where I'll leave it.
Okay. We've watched you raise your son. He's off to Whitworth this year. What's he going to major in?
He is very different than I am, even the way his brain processes stuff. He's super intelligent with computers.
Yeah.
I think he wants to do some scripting
Okay.
for computers. But I told him, and we had this conversation recently, and I was like, you've been super successful in school.
Right.
We've applied pressure,
Oh, yeah.
but not too
Haven't
much.
we all?
And I said to him, I said, your first year of college, I just want you to
Explore.
enjoy life.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, academically, you've got to maintain at least decent grades.
Right.
But this year is about personal growth for you.
Yeah.
Meeting new people.
Yep.
Exploring new things.
Right. Take it in.
Absorbing.
Yeah.
It's all about just absorbing your surroundings. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, if you're failing a class, we're going to talk. But I kind of took that pressure off him. My wife, Sarah, she said, I think that's important to let him know it's okay to just really kind of find who he is. And that's what he'll be doing.
And most of the freshmen at colleges and universities, that's what they're doing. But often they're not getting that permission from dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're spending a lot of money, and you better have good grades.
That's not my mindset.
No. What's in the future for you, bud? Are you still playing some music?
Oh, we're
here
playing,
and there.
Yep, playing in a trio called The Rising.
Okay.
And we had several gigs booked that were just canceled because of COVID, but we're practicing, and we're still playing music and practicing usually once a week.
Okay.
Getting the guys together, and I'll never give that up.
Are the hours a little better now that you don't have to get up so early to go to a practice in the evening?
Yeah, the hours are much better. I'm going to say it's a perfect fit for my life right now.
I always wondered why I would see you post some things on Facebook at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, knowing what your schedule had to be like, meaning you had to be probably at work at 2:30 or get up at 2:30.
Get up at 2:30, at work at 3:30. That was called I Can't Shut My Brain Off. Okay, I'll post something on Facebook.
Yeah, well, welcome to all of us.
Right? Yeah.
And you're better off if you can post it and get it out of the system, because you won't remember it until the morning.
That's correct.
Well, you might, but you'd be awake all night trying to not forget.
Right.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, going to get back to music out in the community, hopefully in the next couple months, right?
Yeah, we'll follow obviously the guidelines, but we'll be back out there. I've already had several places touch base and say, hey, when it opens back up, we want you.
Yeah.
And I do it for fun, and I find it challenging.
Yeah.
I'm by no means a good musician, but
I was going to say that. But no,
I know I just beat you to the punch. And but I am friends with some of the great musicians from my area, the Sammy Eubankses of the world,
Sammy's good,
Bill
great
Bosleys of the world, and kind of just watch them, and I absorb. You're always learning. If you keep yourself learning something new and fresh, I think you stay focused.
Right. Okay, so what's going to be on the news tonight? Do you know?
Nope. I'm going from here to there.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of sit down and have a
see what the world is
quick,
doing.
Brief meeting and determine which way we want to go. And
So do you sit down? Let's talk about the logistics just for a second. You sit down with your producer, who's already probably working right now, right?
She gets in about an hour before I do.
Okay,
so she just kind of has a rough outline of the stories of the day that we want to focus on.
Right.
Usually the interview focus, who's going to stand out, what's the topic, what's going to be our 360 lead, as we call it, and then we kind of talk it through. How are we going to execute that?
Right.
What are the tentacles of that? And we approach it that way.
And you've had some great interviews. I think
thank
back
you.
to when you started and some of the things that you were focusing on. I'm trying to remember the story now, but some young man that was doing something great in the community. And we need to talk about some of the good things going on.
And I think
in these rough times.
I agree. I think you're talking about probably Isaiah when he stepped in front of the Nike store when they were showering the window and he pushed back.
Yes.
Yeah, that was our very first show.
Oh, okay.
And that was the very first interview. And what a great young man.
Yes.
And there are so many stories like that are not highlighted.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of positive. There is a lot of negative right now.
Yes.
And I've heard people say, I can't even watch the news anymore.
Yeah.
And, I understand that.
Yeah.
But that's where if you have smart television and you think it through and you have to cover the news stories of the day, but you can also highlight things that are positive in the community, whether it's one person's actions or somebody that's just really working to improve the day-to-day life of other people in Spokane, you can focus on
and
those
there is
things
a lot
too.
of that
There
going
is
on,
a lot of that right now.
We-
It's buried in the cavalcade of COVID and everything else, but there is a lot of that right now.
Well, you look at in the other newscasts on your station and others, 18 minutes out of 30 minutes of news, and they're covering, they got to get the basics out there, and by the time you do the basics, you have time to focus on a young man like that or some others, because
Right.
you're really limited, and not only in the newscast itself, but in the time that you're allowed. You're going to get a minute for this segment, Sean, and that's it.
Right.
And how do you get that story out?
Yeah.
It goes pretty fast, and so forth. I've been saying all along, we've really had two viruses. One is the COVID-19. We've also had a economic virus that has affected, especially downtown, but a lot of other businesses. And you and I could go on and name a lot, and I don't want to, they're dead and buried, unfortunately, at this point.
Well, and we've lost places that Rocky Rococo's shut down, several of them that really we grew up in.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing too, if I can, is highlighting what we do on the 6:30 is from day one, I walked in and met with the managers, and they said, let's do this story. I said, all right, I need a photographer, I'm going. And they're like, wait, you're leaving the building? And I said, yeah, I'm a reporter by trade. That's what I grew up. So I'm going out and I'm talking to these business owners face to face. And I'll tell you right now, for many of them, they're like, it is bleak, but we're going to fight. We're going to stay positive. We're going to try and survive. I did an interview with the owners of Jack and Dan's, and they told me
I saw that.
They said it is absolutely horrible for them right now. After that interview aired on our show, I got a call, and they said, thank you so much. We've tripled business.
Yeah.
And that's when journalism works.
Yes, we had Mark Starr on last week,
Right.
talking about.
Yeah, I interviewed Mark.
Yeah, and I know I saw that, and we were talking about what the business is like and what eating establishments are going through and so forth, and it's tough out there. It's really tough. And so we actually did a program called We're Open, where we went out and did some live hits during the course of the day to, okay, Sean, tell me about your restaurant and so forth. And we started back when it was only, pickup only, and then some of the restaurants are now opened and so forth. But like you, I heard from a lot of business people that, Kent, I don't know if I'll be here next time you come.
Yeah. No, that is real, and it's tangible,
Yeah.
and it's widespread.
I came here when you were just 6 into Spokane, okay? My wife and I would go out on Saturdays for brunch. That was our time out, right? We would go to Perkins or somebody else in town because those were the choices. I hate to see all of these restaurants and other businesses go away.
Yeah.
There's even sushi in town now. I'm not going to go there, but I'm glad it's there for those who want it. We need to have choices today.
Well,
and we're growing.
It makes me reflect back, because when you lose that, that's a permanent loss.
Yes.
And you may not realize how deep that loss affects you when it happens. But as time goes on and you're nostalgic about it, you'll remember.
Yeah.
I remember the pop shop up north.
Yes.
I miss the pop shop.
Okay.
That's part of my childhood. It's part of the fabric of who I am.
Yeah.
And that's what we're losing right now when these businesses are going down.
I don't know, but if you heard this too, and we're just about finished, but I heard this, the worry from all of these small businesses was, Kent, I'm not so worried about me. I may end up bankrupt or whatever. But I've got 8 employees that are family. You've heard that too?
Virtually every interview I've done, and you know what? I read body language for a living.
Yeah.
And when I'm talking to them about their business, they're tough, they're fight. When it turns to talking about their employees, you can sense the desperation.
Yes.
You can sense the stress elevate. It's personal for these business owners, and their employees are friends of theirs.
Yes.
And
yes.
they're like
family.
They're like, I'll be fine. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Right.
They're my responsibility.
Yeah.
That's what makes a good business owner.
Yeah.
I've seen that virtually every interview I've done with business owners that have been dealing with this pandemic.
Yeah, it's nuts. Well, I'm going to end this by saying what I did that very first night you were on. Okay, I watched the first 14 minutes, I think it was, or 13, and then you went to a commercial break. And by the way, I love how you open the program and then go away for 60 and you tell them it's only 60 basically. Okay, because we know how people act today. Okay, you're going to be gone for 3-minute commercial break. I'm going somewhere else, and that's what people do.
We are not wasting your time.
Yeah, exactly. But I sent a note. I may have sent you a note that at that time, but probably the next day, I sent a note to Neil Bowling, now the general manager, and said, this is the winner. It's better than the rest of any of the other news that you do, and you're number one in Spokane to start with. So this is the best news. So congratulations. Are we allowed to shake hands?
We are.
Okay.
Yes.
So keep it up.
Well,
okay.
Well, thank you. And I just want to say, I work with the best team.
Yeah.
And Dan and Steph and Kalai and Leslie and all of the staff at KHQ. We're really a unit, a team.
Yeah.
We have
our
focus is honesty, integrity, unity.
Yeah.
Get the best product, be smart, and just be journalists. And that's what I try to do on the 630. But that's what we do as a team. And I love everybody I work with, and I'm just going to try and do my part.
So the 630 is on Monday through Friday at what time in the evening?
Yeah, you send that. He emailed that to me, and I said, "Who's buried in Grant's tomb?"
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the 6:30 at 6:30.
That's it for us. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you, Sean Owsley.
Thank you, Kent. Appreciate it.